in person. Give the camera a second here. You're good. We made you change locations. You don't have to. You don't need to ask. You don't need to force a question if you have a question.
Just wondering how this little break that you guys have had from your last game and tomorrow has kind of benefited, even if it's more just allowing people to take a mental break and kind of reset and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, I mean, honestly, it's our first practices we've had in a while. We got one kind of pseudo practice in Phoenix, but I think yesterday was our first real practice in 10 days. So you wish it didn't happen, but there are things that slip when you're only playing games, particularly on the defensive end, but also things like timing and execution. So you hope it can just get better during games, but that's not always how it works. So we just needed a couple practice days to get back to some basics on both ends of the floor.
How do you feel the energy was? I mean, the record is the record, but it seemed like, especially towards the end there, the energy has been uplifted and seems like it's still very good in a very positive manner.
I felt it going into our Seattle game that our energy's been good. It's not a group that's pointing fingers at all. I think people are being very accountable and taking a good look in the mirror. Everything from missing open layups to defensive coverages. People are being coachable and able to receive and give. So, that's a good place to start. Now we just have to play a little better.
Coach, if you just following up on that, you're all professionals. There's always going to be ups and downs in the season. How do you keep players focused and not get too dwelling on, with the record's the record? You guys are pros and have the talent. You'll find ways to right the ship. Sure.
Yeah, nobody's happy with the record, but if the record was different, would we be resting on our laurels? No, we'd be trying to get better at some of the same things we're working on now. So I think when we have, when we need a win the way we do, you have everybody's attention about the things you want to work on. But, yesterday we really had a skill day, like coming back to passing and catching and finishing. Today was more of a focus on, getting into our basic defensive rules that have slipped a little bit. So, as long as people are motivated to keep getting better, kind of the wins and losses shouldn't change that too much.
You win and you learn. So what have you learned about your team through this first handful of games?
It's a group that's pretty good at sticking together. That we've played well, particularly on defense for long stretches. That, we don't have the room for error, especially offensively, to have throwaway possessions. I mean, I think probably every coach feels that way, but we seem to kind of stack our bagged ones up back to back, and we got to get better at, like, okay, we had a bad possession, let's toss it and let's come down and get something that we want and execute well. So, I mean, it's a long season, but we got to feel some urgency right now in the moment to come out and play well tomorrow night.
It is a long season. How would you describe this moment right now? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe a reset button. What would you say this week is for this team?
I don't know, maybe fundamentals. Like, we can come back into some fundamentals on both sides of the ball. It's hard not to look at some of the games we've been in and go, hey, if we just made a few open layups or we didn't have a series of turnovers, that things wouldn't be different. So, trying to take the most obvious things and get better at them.
Stylistically, against Atlanta, what are the main components for success for your team?
Well, I would say their transition offense is first, and part of controlling that is taking good care of the basketball, keeping them out of transition, closing down driving lanes and space for their bigs to operate. They're a team that gets to the foul line a lot. Knowing our personnel, they have very different types of players. Ryan Howard is different from Alicia Gray, who's different from their bigs. We know some of those players pretty well. We've had them before, but no, you have to do, the way they play offensively, it's sort of like a shell drill defensively, and you have to be just really good in your principles, know who you can help off, help the helper. If somebody's going to help stop the ball, then they got to know their next line is behind them ready to go. So it's a good test of our principles.
Cream.
All right, is that me yet, or are you
Yeah,
still
that
doing
was Kareem. That was Kareem. Yeah.
That's Kareem.
Okay, hey, Kylie, what's up, Eric? Quickie, I didn't hear this just at the beginning, and maybe people just saw. Was Shakira back today?
Yeah, she was here yesterday for practice and today.
Okay, gotcha. Is same old as before, similar minutes restriction, but otherwise good to go.
Yep.
Update on Slim. Could you let us know where she's at? I don't know if she practiced today or not.
We're getting out. She didn't practice. We're getting closer. She's been on the court now for a couple days doing some stuff. No big change in terms of, kind of the things we're waiting to see is that kind of that lateral strength. Like I said before, she plays on her edges so much. She's so dynamic that she's got to really feel that strength to be able to trust it and move. You don't want to put her out there in a way where she's going to compensate and risk herself. So closer. I don't have an exact date yet.
Gotcha. And one more thing, Jade kind of broke out in that last game. Do you see her working more in the lineup, particularly with Slim out, and kind of what has stood out to you about her progression since she has arrived?
Yeah, she's going to keep getting opportunities because she's earned them. We kind of said at the start of the year that what we meant by competing was people were going to get what they earn. And she's come in, she's been focused every day. She's been competitive. She knows our offense. She understands what we're trying to do defensively. She plays with great energy. She has an enthusiasm to the game when she's playing. And I'm going to keep finding ways to get her opportunities. And that's kind of open for everybody. You can come in and be ready and make an impact. And I honestly feel like, I know she scored, but I feel like the scoring's been a bonus to kind of the energy and toughness she's played with.
Cool. Quick and easy for me.